So, one of my friends, absolute pickle, reached out to me. Um, a few different people are trying to do a hashtag staying for Hyunjin hashtag. Now, this isn't the first time I've been asked to be part of a sort of like positivity for one of the kids' trends. This is the first time I've decided to join one, partially because I keep blowing them off. Um, partially, I wanted to. There's a number of reasons why this is a difficult thing for me, because of course I could have made a post. That would have been the correct thing to do. As we all know, though, I struggle with concision. Accuracy, great at. Precision, pretty good at. Concision, not my forte. But I decided to do this one anyway. So we'll get there. But in order to do so, I want to talk a little bit first about why these types of trends are so difficult for me to engage with. You know, by all rights, shouldn't I just be able to say, I love this member so much, they're dear, whatever, they're incredible, they're fantastic, sure. And I could. But that doesn't feel genuine to me. You see, love is complex. And love, when it comes to parasocialism, is even more so. You see, when I choose love as a verb, to love, I do so deeply and authentically. I am very in touch with what the verb of love looks like for me, from me. The noun of love is easier. And in many ways, that's what the concise version is. It's not. It wouldn't be love as a verb. It would be love as a noun. I love unconditionally. I do, as a noun. It's part of my training as a therapist. Even if it weren't, it's part of why I became one. But unconditional warmth. To love unconditionally. But to love unconditionally is what it is to love humanity unconditionally. It's what it is to feel warmth for a person unconditionally, regardless of personal distaste. Love as a noun. That will help a client understand that even if their values and my values differ, ultimately I still want them to lead a life worth living. Ultimately, I still want them to lead a life that is based in true happiness rather than anguish. But that's not the kind of love that I want to communicate here. Because you see, that's a love that will convince a client, but it's not a love that keeps a person warm at night. It's not the love that convinces a person that you love them. It is a love that convinces them that you will love regardless. Now this is love as a verb. And when I think about love as a verb, what I think about, what is it to love? It is what is it to give affection, to provide affection, to affect somebody, likely to affect somebody by in some way communicating or showing ways that they have affected you. But true affection, that requires knowledge. It requires knowledge of what affection is to that person. To show love as a verb, to love as a verb, requires the knowledge of a person enough to give them love in a way that will feel like love. Now, that, even with a person who I've sat with for 10 minutes, I can start to figure out how to do that. But to someone I don't know. And see, and therein comes another complication, of course, because the next part of the problem is that I also fundamentally don't believe that a member of Stray Kids will see my content. I try to speak and exist as though it is possible, but, well, ultimately, I don't actually believe that any of the members of Stray Kids will be part of my audience, especially not as we are going on an 8-minute video, although I will likely speed it up a little bit. Well, but if so what does that mean I'm doing? What is the goal? Is it just to be performative for other Stay? No. No, there's something real there. There's something valuable. So I've been trying to figure out today, what is it that I'm doing? What is it that I'm saying? What is it that's my goal? And ultimately, the goal is to model what my affection for someone would be. This is important to me with Hyunjin for a few reasons. I wax poetic about some of the members sometimes. If you've watched my content, you know that. But Hyunjin, I think it's important to me because I find that he is so often manic pixie dream guide, I suppose. If you don't know what a manic pixie dream girl is, you can look it up. It's very findable on the internet. But people romanticize him as an artist to such a degree. And I worry about what that means for them and for him. So I thought about, what does it look like? What does it really look like to show affection? So I'm going to ask you and me, whomever is watching this, we're going to role play a little bit, because I think what I finally landed on, while it would be words for Hyunjin, it's also words for you, whether words for you to take, whether words for you to use, whether words that will be helpful for you. But it's a little off the cuff, but you know, I think we can figure it out. And by we, I mean me, because unfortunately I don't have access to feedback. At least not while I'm doing it. So I'm going to talk as though I'm using a hashtag in a concise way, in a way that somebody might screenshot and see and not have spent 10 minutes listening first. There is only one real, authentic, truly authentic piece of affection that I can give to somebody whom I don't know personally, whom I have only experienced on this parasocial level. There's one primary piece of affection I can give through words and language. I know that there are many reasons that people love you. But I also know that many of those reasons that they will bring up are about things that can be ephemeral, or at least that can feel like they are ephemeral. They are about your artistry, which is part of you and will always be part of you. But people can say that they love your voice, or they love your art, or they love your creative spirit, or they love your dance. And that's true. And that's meaningful. But all of these things we can lose, even if only temporarily. I don't believe most people are capable of losing their creative spirit permanently, but they can certainly lose it indefinitely. So I don't want to tell you that I love these things, because that's not what I want you to hold on to. I want to watch you become the truest version of yourself that you can be. It's immensely selfish of me. And likely I'll never actually be able to. That's not how this relationship works. But when I work with clients, one of the biggest ways I know that people are really making progress is when they start saying, I'm more me than I've ever been. I'm more me than I've ever been, something like that. I want so much to watch you know what that means for you to know who you are, regardless of these pieces of your identity that, of course, if you lost them, would be devastating and you would have to grieve, but that they are not everything. I am not somebody who exists for the thrill of watching strangers grow as people. It's because something moves me to want to watch them be who they are. Usually many somethings. When I talk about sense of self with people, what I'll often say to them is that it's like a house where all the lights are turned off. It's completely dark inside, and you are blindfolded. And it's easy to walk into the house and think that it's empty. But it's not. You just haven't figured out where the lights are yet. I want you to know where every light switch in your house is. Not based on what we tell you. I want to watch as you become confident in who you are, as you tell us who you are, regardless of how we'd fucking take it, because you have millions of fans. And you can't be the person millions of people want you to be. And I think it would be the greatest honor to watch you truly learn that your love for yourself and your worth is so much beyond what we see in you. I want to know that you're choosing Stray Kids every day, not because it's the only thing you've ever known, not because it's scary to think about what else there is, but because it makes you happy. Not because when you walk off stage, there's nothing else there, but because you live a full life and being part of Stray Kids makes it fuller. And maybe you do feel that way. I just think about what you've said that seems like maybe you don't. All the time, at least. And I want it to be all the time. I so look forward to watching you become a version of yourself that's so confident that if you left, it's because that would make you happier. That you know what your happiness is, what it would entail. And that it's not just us. Because we're just grains of sand on the beach of your life. And yes, the beach is made up of grains of sand, and you do not get a beach without those grains of sand, but there is a lot more in this world than a beach. I also want you to know who you are if you're not a boy on a beach. And I probably will never know how much of that you do and don't have access to, but that is the affection that I have, is that selfish desire to have access to it, even knowing that I probably won't. I'm glad you made a decision to stay. And I hope that that decision is one you can keep making joyfully, or one you make in any other direction more joyfully. That you are running towards joy and not away from pain. That's what I'm staying for, is to watch you become